Tesla as a long is free money? A lot of earnings you gotta assign to robotics. Well, NVIDIA is gonna, trade a lot in the first half hour. It's gonna go up and down quite a bit, but really the question is, when cooler heads prevail, what's going to... Tesla's a cult stock for good reason, but, you are really looking at, I did a whole video on it. It's not going to be easy to come up with a value that makes sense. You're really just investing in Elon, which is fine. Expiries this week, Beverly. Cooler heads prevail on the earnings call. Half an hour most. You basically get the move for tomorrow within 15, 20 minutes, I think. NVIDIA's sometimes a little different. Maybe after the conference call. 600 billion robots, each powered by B100. NVIDIA, $131. Actually, $131,000 per share. Robots start multiplying. They need Taiwan Semi to give birth. That's a fab. Women used to be fabs. Now we need extra ultraviolet lithography. Extreme ultraviolet lithography. I don't know how much liquidity there's going to be. It's going to dry up, but for any of us, it's going to be enough liquidity. But if you connected my program to, $50 million or something, I'd be curious. 420. We'll be ready if it's earlier, but it should be 4:20 p.m. See continued weakness here. I'd say you should run the program at 4:15. I don't think you're going to get rate limited, but...
Don't be scared to get to the money at all times. I went to sleep 3 a.m. I was back up at 6:30. Excited. No excuses. My bad. Yo.
All right, 2 minutes. IonQ is probably coming first. IonQ announces Q4. IonQ to acquire that company. Oh, they're doing a $500 million ATM. New CEO for IonQ. What happened? 75 to 95. 75 to 95. That brackets the street. Street's at 83. I think it sells off on that. It's not that good. I just sold a few thousand shares. I'm trying to short some. That's really not that great. That's what the street expected. I don't know how they're even going to meet that number, to be honest, but the data's out. The data's out on 𝐤𝐸𝐿. It's on a weird special news wire, but the data's out on 𝐤𝐸𝐿. There it is. IonQ equity N. Oh, wait a second. So their guidance has to include the company they're acquiring. The $500 million ATM, new CEO for some reason, who is not a quantum person at all, some random consultant. Peter Chapman's doing AI, healthcare AI, he's resigning. What kind of CEO resigns if it's going to be a great company? Are they not saying, oh, wow. Oh, this is a scam. So without the acquisition, they would have missed guidance, or they would have missed the street estimate by 50 million. They did this deal just to make the numbers. CEO says, I don't want to work here anymore. Management says, let's raise 500 million with the ATM. That's going to be good for the stock price. Yeah, okay, I'm happy where I am here. Yeah, it doesn't even say what the revenue of the deal was. It's such a minuscule acquisition. The only thing that comes with the acquisition is this fake grant. $54.5 million grant, so they're going to book that. Nothing will come of it. Or at least they get to sort of have this fake revenue that keeps adding up. They don't even say how much revenue the company had. That's criminal. Put me in jail. They're not saying what the revenue of the company was, but they're acquiring it. Come on, dog. Yeah, the earnings aren't that important for IonQ. It's all about revenue. Earnings are seldom important for any of the companies we look at here. I don't even think it's important for NVIDIA. Yeah, the Microsoft chip isn't any good either. It's definitely bad for quantum as well. Or IonQ, man. Just like a short some Rigetti as well. Yeah, Dell, man, you have to be really mature and revenue can't be swinging wildly. If revenue's swinging wildly, earnings basically don't mean anything. I'd say gross margins still matter quite a bit, but yeah, so it'll probably be just, the $500 million ATM just gotta scare retail, because it's like, they're basically saying, you're the baggie. We are going to sell stock to you in the marketplace because there's no institution that wants to buy it from us. So we're just going to sell it straight to you guys. The last guy that to do that was AMC. Yeah, I didn't think that App 11 report was that good. Looks like Snowflake beat fairly handily. Yeah, it was funny. Business Wire was 4 minutes later Then this weird thing called PUBT. I'm glad we have that on Godel, because if we just did Business Wire, most guys just have Business Wire, but we got it early. That was the appetizer. Who's ready for the main course? 54, what are you, crazy? Here's the NVIDIA cheat sheet for anybody curious. This is kind of where I think it'll come out in the green zone. Obviously anything above the green zone will be quite a big reaction. Anything below it is not gonna be good. 420 people, I've been saying it over and over again. Did you read the IonQ says, oh my God. Do you see what they're saying the first quarter of revenue will be? Q1 25? So I have 84 in here spread out. I don't know if you can see this, chat. I have 84 spread out over 4 quarters, right? Do you see this? But guess what they guided Q1 to? This is consensus, by the way. Consensus is 16 million. They're guiding to 7 to 8. So how are they going to jump from 7.5 to 20, 22.5, and 25? I've never seen a business that did that. There's no organic demand here. It's all coming from the deal that they did. Don't beat. No way. No way. That's fake. It's not 37.1. If it's 37, somebody's just short and trying to make a little money. It's 37.1, it's all over. Western civilization is, if it's 37 million, I'm jumping out this window right here. 37 billion. It's all over. Dun, dun, dun. I think guidance is 43.25 and use 40.25. We expect 40.25 billion. We will get the news immediately, of course. I even wrote this program on the right side of my screen to analyze it right away. Guidance is going to be maybe slightly more important, 60-40, I'd say, than the current quarter. The next quarter, which they have visibility into, they've already done a month of it, so they'll be able to give us color on that. I expect 43.26. The street's at 42.26 for what it's worth. Right, Kev? Wait, what's this? Is this the fourth quarter shareholder letter? Okay, that's not NVIDIA. That's some other company. But that just happened with IonQ. We got it through some weird newswire. It was very bizarre. Okay, 2 minutes left. See, IonQ selling off very hard here. Makes a short seller real happy, but 20, breaking 26. It's distracting me a bit. Okay, just about 1 minute to go here. If I spaz out, it's probably because I'm going to be trying to put a trade on. Okay, about 40 seconds to go. NVIDIA 35.6 for data center. Where is the total revenue? Total revenue 39.3. That is light. It's going to get smoked. What's guidance? Guidance of 43. 43 is good, but that's a light quarter. I think we go down here. 43 is a good number, no doubt, but it's not that good. And current quarter of 39 is kind of blah, man. I'm bearish on this. Maybe the street thought it could be worse, you know, but I don't see this as a good number. You know, one of the things about NVIDIA is that they've been beating by so much over time that, oh man, it's dropping now, 133. This focus code is not correct. We're at 133 now. We shorted at 135.74. So we are seeing 130 now. The quote is now correct. Below 130. Hope you shorted with me, guys. That was good reaction speed. Probably want to cover it here. Well, that was a bad number. I mean, it's really a bad number. The guidance is good, but I don't know if I want to cover it just yet. Okay, it's down $10. Maybe down $10 I'd cover it. Yeah, I mean, look, it's not horrible. I mean, I think that both numbers should have been higher, you know? It's not the NVIDIA of yesterday. Now, having said that, the valuation is also not the NVIDIA of yesterday. It's more mature. So the huge beats and the huge guidance, yeah, it's a $3 trillion company now. I mean, how much more can they do with that kind of thing? So I personally think, I mean, as you guys know, I shorted vol going into this. I don't mind the short I got off at 136. I really don't understand what people were doing there for a minute when they bid it to like 138. I tried to short more, missed it. But I don't think it's going to crater. I mean, I could see it down $5, maybe $10, but it's not going to be down $20 or something. So the strangle is good. Again, you know, just a slight complaint that they didn't really hit the number out of the park like they used to. And the guidance is also kind of, So this isn't really the NVIDIA that we thought about. And think about, like, I remember think back to my .com days. When a growth company no longer smashes the estimates and they're just kind of meeting the estimates, you sort of look at it and you're like, maybe soon we're going to go from smashing them to just sort of slightly beating them to meeting them to being below them. That's the sort of thing that you really worry about as a growth investor. You don't want, you know, that sort of, you know, it beat, but it didn't beat big. Every quarter before they beat by 2 billion, and the 43 billion number is not a raise. That's pretty much what consensus was. But you know, it's like I said, it's not a catastrophe or anything. It's just not. Yeah, exactly. I mean, NVIDIA is not the NVIDIA of yesterday, as I said a minute ago. Things have changed, you know, quite a lot. Where the company's, you know, very large now, and the valuation is much more reasonable. They've kind of grown into it, so. Huge beats are unlikely, but at the same time, you know, it is a cyclical business, and you want to see big beats and big raises, because when there become small beats and small raises, then you wonder, are we just going to get meeting them, and then maybe you get slight misses and slight raises, slight guide downs. I mean, I think this is Goldilocks, sort of. It's a little shy of Goldilocks. You know, a couple $100 million more in each would have been nice. So I think it's going to be slightly down. You're also talking about the biggest boom in capital spending boom ever, right? They just heard Meta, Google, AWS, everybody say, we're going to spend like crazy. We're going to spend more than we thought. And NVIDIA saying, well, our revenue is not going to be a whole lot more than you guys think. That's weird, right? I mean, you know, you have NVIDIA sort of saying, yeah, this is basically what the street thought. But meanwhile, Microsoft is like, oh yeah, we're gonna spend like 30 billion more than you thought. Facebook's like, we're gonna spend 20 billion more than you thought. Elon's raising another 10 billion to buy GPUs. So
order filled.
Not exactly inspiring. And you know, they you know, depending on how if they had really had Blackwell shipping in Q4, I think they should have beat by more.
Order filled.
Or if they didn't, they should be guiding by more. So they're both kind of not great. Jensen, here at Facebook, we're trying to connect the world. We're gonna need about 100,000 B100s. Okay, I'm covering some IonQ. This is a big move. I don't think it's going to go that down. I mean, tell you what, I'll short some Rigetti and I'll cover some IonQ. That sounds smart. Yeah, this isn't exactly what we expected from IonQ. We thought they would try to sort of fake it, and they did. Abrupt resignation of the CEO. Guidance that is very opaque. By buying a rival, they were only just able to meet guidance, which was surprising. And then the huge ATM that clearly retail doesn't like ATMs. I mean, they hate ATMs. If you know the history of AMC and stuff like that.
Order partially filled.
I mean, I would cover down here all my short friends. I don't think it's going to be this easy, unfortunately. Nothing really changes in the fundamental QC story of like, should we be excited about this technology? If you're bullish on this technology, for whatever reason, God love you. You know, you're not really swayed by a quarter. You're not swayed by an ATM. You're not really swayed by a new CEO. Because half of the shareholders in, like, say, Rigetti, there's no revenue for Rigetti anyway. So the fact that IonQ's revenue is more or less shown now to be fake, I don't know that makes a difference. You know, you're still talking about quantum. And, we should be listening to this conference call.
It enables IonQ to scale quantum computers by enabling distributed.
They're interested in quantum networking now because their quantum computers don't work. How much revenue does it have?
In aggregate, IonQ will shortly control nearly 900 patents.
Yeah, but you bought a company. How much revenue are they doing?
Distribution to test
Wait, Chattanooga? Did you just say Chattanooga, my man? Blue chip customer?
Quantum networking is expected to be an equally large and impactful market
Okay, I'm in half of those industries and I don't see how quantum does anything.
leader.
Yeah, so I'm sort of happy that we called it about right. Like I said, sort of same opinion, slight disappointment, nothing too crazy. Expect the stock will trade down like 1% or 2% tomorrow. Meta's new news, I don't think was incorporated. That would have been a good question actually for a sell-sider. Ask if they incorporated Meta's $200 billion plan. Clearly not, I think. So I don't think it should sell off too much. I would buy it if it did. But yeah, it could be down 2% or something. Could be up 2% too. So pretty much towed the line perfectly there. He mentioned the autonomous vehicle stuff that I've been bullish on. He didn't talk much about robotics, right? Or Colette. Terrible audio quality, by the way. Somebody's got to tell them to get a real conference call. Yeah, so NVIDIA's fine, you know. Good job on their part, you know, putting up a decent quarter and decent guidance. Like I said, I thought the quarter would be a little better than it was, but on IonQ, I mean, what more can I say? Maybe a new CEO will help them. Having said that, you know, given the craziness in quantum stocks, you know, might make sense to cover in the weakness just to get another crack at it, you know, might go back up to 28, 29, 30 and short it again up there, you know, let the gift keep on giving. So for IonQ, I don't know if they're going to give full year guidance, but if they give full year guidance and it's not above that number, it's all over. And I don't know how they get more business because the Air Force isn't doing a new contract with them. Now they could lie. They could do an acquisition. Now that's the thing. I mean, they can, no, everyone lies about guidance because nobody really knows what's going to happen. So you just say, okay, this is my best estimate. And this is also a company that's known to be very sus, right? I mean, you should always have spare capital. The thing about IonQ is if they can give guidance of 80-something million, they actually then have to make it, which, as you guys can see, requires their revenue to jump to 16, then 18, then 22, then 27. Pretty tough to do. Not easy to get your revenue to grow like that, especially when none of the other quantum companies can get $1. They can't hold $1. So how in the world are these guys gonna do it? This company had literally zero revenue like 3 years ago. Literally not $1. Okay. In 2019, they had 200,000 in revenue, and they had not released anything that would merit. The Air Force contract was like this one-off. They got very lucky on. I don't think they've closed anything else that's big, right? I don't know that they can sell hardware. Who wants to buy these machines? I think they almost can give them away. The Air Force has its own research lab for military research. So their IonQ's IonQ can run out of cash in 2 years. So it's not they'll raise, but they still are behind on their latest 100. We already know this quarter's results because this is just contract revenue recognition. And you can see that I try to get the rev rec for Air Force too, but I don't think they're going to recognize more than 15 million in Air Force. So where's the other revenue going to come from? It's a 6 billion, 7 billion market cap. That's a lot. You can buy a real company with that. You can buy a football team. Puts are jacked for the event. 1. 2, puts require you to get your timing right. They expire. 3, puts require you to get the magnitude of the direction right, which is very hard to do. Yeah, I'm wondering the same AMG Blues. I'm going to make a small amount of money on SMCI, but I was thinking it wouldn't hold this 20% move. Well, Rigetti, they're not like IonQ. They're not trying to do revenue. So, let's say IonQ has a good quarter. Rigetti's going to have a bad quarter. Rigetti never reports any revenue. So, nasal spray, clean the passages, and I got GGs. Well, I don't think it's going to be good for Rigetti let's say IonQ has an amazing quarter, amazing guidance. Well, then Rigetti reports next week. Reporting new revenue, then what happens? Same thing with D-Wave. Yeah, I don't want to be long because I think there's not much to be excited about. And like these stocks are obviously like very heavily under pressure on selling the news.
Order partially filled.
Listen, I would back off the parasocial stuff. Once you start feeling parasocial,
Order partially
you should take a break. Just so anybody out there, parasocial is when you really start to feel like people on your stream are your friends and stuff like that. Look, we're all here to make money. We can definitely be friendly, but the chances that we're going to be boys is basically 0%. You know, there's a couple people here like Andy and some others, you know, it has happened, but it is literally 1 in a million. And I'm not saying that like some kind of flex.
Order filled.
I'm saying that because like I have my own life and you can be the coolest person in the world, but you also have your own life.
Filled.
And we're trying to make some money together, learn things together, but we're never really going to be friends. and you just, you know, it's healthy for you to sort of see that. And if you learn something, you know, great, but, you know, don't become Stan. So in case you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm just selling a lot of IonQ calls instead of shorting the stocks. I'm like swapping those two out, so at least I get the benefit of selling that vol, because I don't think earnings are going to be a big deal, but if they are, I'm still willing to be short. So I hope that makes sense. And I collect the premium basically collect the premium if I'm right. I'm still short some comment. I'm not going to stop shorting it. I'm selling at the monies, and no, Microstrategy won't be insolvent for a while. It just makes it look stupid, and you know there won't be a premium. Usually a premium evaporates and it'll be like a discount. Why would you think Apple will go down 40%? Is there going to be another short report? I did AP plateau. I do everything I say, dude. It's the 138 call, 124 put, technically. It's a short, but it's not I don't think it's zero. You know, don't get too arrogant, you know? You have to kind of look at the closing price because like MicroStrategy goes up and down like quite a lot day to day. So it's roughly tracking correctly. I think it's slight beat, slight raise, just like basically every quarter they have. You know, there's enough demand that Jensen can kind of manage that. I think we did some proprietary calculations earlier. I do have a really good source that knows demand pretty well, but he is not picked up, unfortunately. I'm just gonna get a Red Bull. I don't know if it's gonna dump on the quarter. All right, so yeah, I've sold the 124 put and the 138 call. Sold the 124 put and the 138 call for a combination of what, $6? Yeah, $6.50. Bitcoin super weak. Well, I guess it bounced for a second, but I'm kind of bullish on NVIDIA. This is like building the airplane while flying it. You know, nobody can really predict what the next 5 years of AI or deep learning is going to look like. I could see it going really well. I could kind of see it going really poorly. Mostly I think it'll go well, but God only knows. No, I don't have any common position in NVIDIA. Yes, I wrote this program to try to basically download the NVIDIA press release and very quickly tell you if it's good results or not. So that's in the Godel terminal if you want to try the program. It's a little, it's not totally easy to get it to run or anything, but assuming you know a little Python, you should be able to get it to run. And run it on localhost, and it'll basically just keep spamming to get the result, and it'll automatically parse and analyze it and tell you if it was basically good results or not. So rather than taking the 25 seconds it takes to read the press release, I'd rather just know right away and blast the market. Yeah, I used to write some of those first programs actually when I was working for Cramer. It's revenue and it's guidance. That's the only thing that matters here. Yes, Cramer, Jim Cramer. Want to ask me about anything other than NVIDIA right now? Obviously because we operate the terminal here, we have a lot of APIs. but I had to. I want the one that's like literally the second of. So this is my first time doing this one. So we'll see if it gets it. Snowflake is up. Is Snowflake leaking?